Hallelujah to the Lamb of God. Hallelujah. Glory. Hallelujah. Come on, if he touched you a little bit, you ought to say thank you, Lord. If he touched your baby a little bit, you ought to give him some glory. If he was with your old crazy cousin, you ought to give him some glory. If he helped you across the street, you ought to bless the name of the Lord. Come on, give him. Come on. Don't mind like that. This ain't always. We don't see this all the time. Hallelujah.
8 years of age and entered into his heavenly home on October 31st, 2022. And whereas born on December 21st, 1953, Calvin Wainright overcame hardships growing up in Kansas City to become a talented and dedicated student athlete who contributed greatly to the Manual High School basketball team's state title win in 1971 and success of Lincoln University basketball team. And whereas determined to provide a safe and healthy alternative for the area youth, Calvin Wainright launched an inner city program at Don Bosco Community Center in Kansas City and coached countless children there and at the YMCA. And whereas a youth development director for Don Bosco Community Center, Calvin Wainright led an exemplary life of service to both his family and his community, each indicative of his lifelong commitment of caring for others. And whereas a Link Caring Communities Coordinator, Calvin Wainright worked tirelessly to improve the lives of children and families in the Kansas City region who were often surrounded by poverty and violence. And whereas a volunteer athletic coach for Kansas City Parks for more than 40 years, Calvin Wainright received an Outstanding Volunteer Coach Award from the Missouri Park and Recreation Association in 2020. And whereas, as founder and pastor of Heaven Sent Outreach Ministries since 2003, Calvin Wainright lived his life with great dignity, always demonstrating a deep and continuing concern for human values and ideas and inspiring others to do the same. And whereas Calvin Wainright leaves behind to cherish his memory, his children, and his wife of 20 years, Reverend Cassandra Wainright. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the members of the Missouri Senate 101st General Assembly, extend our most profound condolences to the family and friends of Calvin Wainright, who will miss his considerable warmth, strength, and light in their daily lives. And be it further resolved that the Secretary of Senate be instructed to prepare a properly inscribed copy of this resolution in memory of Calvin Wainright, authored by Senator Washington, Barbara A. Washington, State of Missouri, City of Jefferson City, Senate Chambers, David Sharps, President Pro Tem of Senate, do hereby certify the above and foregoing to be a full, true, and completed copy of the Senate resolution offered by Senator Washington and adapted on November 10th, 2022, as fully as the same appears of record. In testimony, wherefore, I have hereunto set my hand and affixed the seal of the Senate of the Missouri this 10th day of November AD 2022. President and Pro Tem, 101st General Assembly, David Schwartz. You all give Calvin a hand for that. Y'all gotta do better than that. Y'all gotta give my brother a hand for that.
Jackson County Executive.
Your mic up, sis.
Proclamation, Office of the County Executive. Whereas Pastor Calvin C. Wainright, founder and pastor of Heaven Sent Outreach Ministries, transitioned to be with his Lord on October 31st, 2022 at the age of 68. And whereas Pastor Calvin C. Wainright, alongside his wife Cassandra Wainright, formed Heaven Sent Outreach Ministry, a unique and non-traditional ministry in 2003 to reach beyond the four walls of traditional church buildings to serve and minister to the needs of the community and be a blessing to others. And whereas Pastor Wainright blended the gospel with sports, in particular coaching basketball, and was a trusted mentor, counselor, surrogate father, and friend to countless youth for over 40 years as a volunteer coach. And whereas Pastor Wainwright's countless involvements and partnerships illustrate his passion and lifelong commitment to caring, service, and leadership, including Freedom Hoops, Housing Authority of Kansas City Police Department, Boys and Girls Club, Boys to Men Initiative, Freedom Fire Ministries, Concerned Clergy Coalition of Kansas City, National Week of Prayer for the Healing of AIDS in Kansas City, voter registration drives, and most recently our Healthy KC Eastside. And whereas Pastor Wainright retired in July 2022 as site coordinator for the Greater Kansas City Local Investments Commissions, LINC, a nationally recognized community-based collaborative involved in welfare reform, foster care, managed Medicaid, and school-based services. And whereas Pastor Wainright, a committed and loving husband, brother, uncle, and father, will long be remembered for his contributions to the many lives he impacted, and his family and friends mourn his passing. Now, therefore, in accordance with the power vested in me by the Home Rule Charter of Jackson County, Missouri, I, Frank Wright Jr., hereby proclaim and extend on behalf of Jackson County our condolences on the occasion of the passing of Pastor Calvin C. Wainright and our gratitude for his service to the citizens of Jackson County, Missouri. Thank you.
You did good. Good job, Amy.
Praise the Lord. In honor of Pastor Calvin Wainright, a husband, father, grandfather, brother, leader, community advocate, mentor, surrogate father, and a coach, he would never meet a stranger and was known to meet people where they are. Whereas Calvin Wainright married Cassandra Wainright on September 21st.
You have so much to be proud of. Pastor Calvin set a standard that was immeasurable. All the many lives he touched that will forever be changed. Pastor Sandy, we love you, and we will be in constant prayer for you and your family. Humbly submitted. Kingdom Word Ministries of Kansas City, Missouri. To everything there is a season and a time, every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pluck up which is planted. We, the membership of Kingdom Word Ministries, Bishop Eric and Sister Regina, Calvin C. Wainright Day in Kansas City, Missouri. Whereas Pastor Calvin C. Wainright has served as founder and pastor alongside his wife of Heaven Sent Outreach Ministries since 2003. He is widely known for his heart and service and outreach as he leads both his family and church beyond the four walls of our traditional church buildings to serve and to be a blessing to others. And whereas Pastor Calvin answered his call to the gospel ministries in 2002, he also served as a trust mentor, counselor, coach, surrogate father, and friend to countless young boys and girls. He worked professionally for over 14 years as a youth development director for the Don Bosco Community Center. And whereas Pastor Calvin serves as head coach of local basketball sports team he developed as the Heaven Sent Hawks. Over the years, he has trained and developed youth who later become eligible for AAU competitions. He poured into the lives of young people, building their skills in the game of basketball while empowering them to be more than just a ball player. And whereas Pastor Calvin has been the recipient of many awards, special recognition, and honors, among those were being honored by the Kansas City Parks and Recreation Department as a Volunteer of the Year, the People's Choice Award, recipient of the Hoodie Award, recognized as the Employee of the Month while working for the LINK program. Fox 4 paid it forward recipient, the Legend Award, presented to him at the very first Calvin Wainright Basketball Classic. And whereas professionally, Pastor Calvin formerly worked at the Kansas City Free Health Clinic, known as the Kansas City Care Health Center, as a prevention specialist, wherein he developed a passion and heart for HIV and AIDS ministry. He later continued his ministry to young people and others in need throughout his life, and served as a site coordinator in the Greater Kansas City Local Investment Commission, LINC. He retired in July of 2022. Pastor Calvin was committed, loving husband and father who put God, his family, and his ministry as priority in his life. And now, therefore, as the mayor of Kansas City, I, Quentin D. Lucas, on behalf of the residents of this great city, do hereby proclaim December 21st, 2022 as Pastor C. Wainright Day in Kansas City, Missouri. Whereas it is with a heavy heart that the members of the Missouri House of Representatives pause to acknowledge the significant achievements of a life gone by, that of Pastor Calvin C. Wainright, who passed to his eternal reward on October 31st, 2022. And whereas Pastor Wainright came into this world on December 21st, 1953 as the tiny infant son born to a proud and loving parents, Alvin Joe Wainright and Marvine E. Wainright, and received his education at Manual High School, Lon Morris Junior College, and Lincoln University, and Penn Valley Community College. And whereas Pastor Wainright declared his love for the Lord at an early age and glorified his name throughout his service with the YMCA, Boy Scouts American Program, and Wayne Minor sports teams. And whereas well known in the Black community, Pastor Wainright coached sports for countless kids, teens at the YMCA and the Don Bosco Community Center starting in the 1990s, and touched many lives as Link Caring Communities Coordinator, Organizer, Life Mentor, Pastor, and Neighborhood Leader. And whereas Pastor Wainright received several awards and honors throughout his life, some which include the Missouri Parks and Recreation Association Outstanding Volunteer Coach of the Year Award, the Kansas City's People Choice Award, Humanitarian Award, and the Legend Award presented to him at the very first Calvin Wainright Basketball Classic in 2021. And whereas preceded in death by his parents, his siblings, and several other family members, Pastor Wainright leaves to cherish his memory, his devoted wife of 20 years, Pastor Cassandra Miss Sandy Wainright, his siblings, Yasmin King Brown, Vanessa Wainright, Terrence Wainright, Amelia Wainright Mason, Vincent Wainright, Maurice King III, and Kimberly Crawford, and his heavenly sent Hawks basketball family, his forever Don Bosco boys, and a host of nieces, nephews, and other family and friends. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the members of the Missouri House of Representatives, 101st General Assembly, join in paying a final tribute to Pastor Wainright, a remarkable gentleman of peace and kindness in this world, who will be sadly missed by all those who had the distinct pleasure of knowing him and loving him. And be it further resolved that the Chief Clerk of the Missouri House of Representatives be instructed to prepare a properly inscribed of this resolution for the family and the late Pastor Calvin C. Wainright as an expression of our deep sympathy. Offered by Representative Jerome Barnes, District 28, Representative Richard Brown, District 27. I, Rob Vascovo, Speaker of the House of Representatives, 101st General Assembly, second regular session, do certify that the above is true and correct of the House Resolution number 6566 adopted November 10th, 2022. The Wainright family, we would like to thank all of you for your warm condolences, thoughts, and prayers at this time. He was a blessing to a lot of you, and I would like a lot of you to continue that blessing. He reached out to inner city children that didn't have any path, but probably to prison or jail, and he showed them a different path. So you don't have to be a coach to be like Coach Wainright. If you see a child in need, inspire them, be their mentor. If you're a teen mom, you pick up your child for practice and you see four that don't have a ride, give them a ride. We all have to do, I don't want his work to end. I really don't, because he serves so many children, and there's so many men here that are the men that they are because of him. So let's please continue this work. Thank you.
It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. Oh. I don't know where this road is.
Minister myself, we have our own church, but he would, I'm local, but he would take me out of the streets, and now I work for a law firm. Like I was gang banging and shooting. Wow. He was like, come here, there's something different for you. He was like, you might not really be that good at basketball, but here, there's something else for you. Yeah, so, but I'm glad I got in the van. You know, so.
It was all about that van.
That
van was, everybody was about that van.
Yeah, listen.
So Ishmael and Ahmad, they came out of the womb dribbling balls. Like basketball sports was their thing, not mine.